everybody, it's Vanessa from Crafty Gemini Creates, and today we're going to be working on a really cute project. This is my little Trifold wallet, and I think this is actually a great gift for guys, teens, tweens. I know we're always out there trying to search for new ideas on what to make the men and the guys in our life, and I think this is going to be just it. If you're looking at the product and you're probably wondering, what is this? This is a product called Kraft-tex, and really the only way that I can describe it is kind of like a mix between fabric and paper. So you can see how stiff and rigid it is, so it makes it a dream to stitch through. No grain lines, no bias, nothing distorting on you, and it's super easy to use. Now it's also very, very sturdy. I have a sample here that I cut up, and I actually like to crunch it up like this. You can soak it, you can even boil this stuff, and it does not change the integrity of the product. So it can be machine washed and dried as well. Now, if you see, this sample here is a little bit more crinkled. It kind of gives you a really cool leathery type of look. For purposes of the tutorial, I'm just going to keep everything nice and flat so we don't get any weird lines that kind of makes it a little difficult for you to see. But otherwise, if you really like the leather look, go ahead, crunch it up. Then what I would do is just mist it with a little water. And this is actually how it comes. So you get a lot in one of these big rolls. The colors we're going to be using today are natural, which is this nice tan color, and then also the black. But it also comes in several different colors. And then remember that we always include a link for you in the description box below where you can click to find all the materials that we're using, okay, in this tutorial. So you can wet it. It can be, again, machine washed and dried on hot. I mean, you can do anything you want to this stuff. So it's a great project also to work with kids, beginners that are just starting to sew. I kind of just rub it like this, and then you just hit it with your iron. So you're not going to melt it or anything. And that way you get some of the creases out, but you still get the lines that remain. But that way it's still flat enough for you to start working with it. So you can see that really does have a nice kind of leathery look to it, okay? So that's an option for you to do. If you want to go for this look, I would prep the fabric first before we start cutting out the pieces. Just give it a good press, and then let's jump into the cuts that you'll need to make your little trifold wallet. So I'll set this actually aside. Now, there's quite a few cuts that you need because there's different components to put the whole wallet together. So in the description box below the video, we've also included all the individual cuts there for you, okay? So we have our outer piece here. We have the inner lining, and you can see that it's 1/4 of an inch shorter than the other one, and that is really helpful because it's going to give you this little lip here for you to reach in for the bills, okay? Then we have some other cuts here. We have 4 that are cut to the same size, and these get stitched in here to create those card slots, and I'll show you how to do that next. Okay, but those go 2 on each side. Then you get a smaller one right here, and I like to put the ID in here. My husband has one of these wallets, and he absolutely loves it. And then we have 3 pieces that are cut to the same size, and that's going to help us with the closure. Now, the closure is something that I put together, and I think you're really going to like it because there's no snaps, no Velcro, nothing crazy. It's just a matter of stitching this down and having the little, kind of like a little strap that slips in and holds the wallet together. So you need 3 of these at the same size, and then 1 for the actual strip that goes in here. Okay, so those are all the cuts that you'll need. Once you have all those pieces cut out, what I like to do is take both the outer and the lining piece, okay? So that's, in this case, our natural color back here, and then the black. So to both of those, I want you to measure in 3 1/8 inches, all right? And so I'll show you here briefly where that mark is on your ruler in case you're not familiar with 1/8 inch marks. So 1, 2, 3, and the 1/8 inch is the one little hash right after the 3. So not 3 1/4, but the one right before that, okay? So 3 1/8. So I'm going to measure that on the edge of my strips here. And I just have a stiletto, and I'm just going to run it a couple times right here to give it that crease. And it actually creases really nicely. You can see that. Then just give it a press and fold it back and forth. Okay, so now I have 2 creases, and fold it just to make sure it should fit nicely as a trifold. And you're going to repeat that again to the outer and inner. So now let's start putting the pockets on the inside part, okay? And we're actually going to assemble the outer and the inner lining separately. So first we're working on the inside part. What you want to do is take the 4 rectangles that are the same measurement, and I'm going to overlap one over the other. Notice, I don't have the one on top covering that one. You should be able to see both edges. So slip one underneath, and you want it to stick out about 1/4 of an inch from the other one. Then just line it up with raw edges here, here, and here. I like to use clips because this stuff is kind of stiff and sturdy for you to try and pin through. So definitely take out those wonder clips. Make this nice and straight. And then we're going to head over to the sewing machine, and we're just going to top stitch about 1/8 of an inch away, back stitching at the beginning and at the ends to secure those in place, like you see I've done here. I'm going to head over and do this one, and then I'm just going to briefly show you how we attach the second, or the third pocket part, I should say, for the center, for the ID. You can put it this way so the card can come in from here, or you can scoot it over and have the ID come from this side. Whichever side you decide to put it on, what I do want you to do is to make sure that you put it at least 1/4 of an inch away from either crease line. So if I'm going to put it here, it needs to be at least that 1/4 inch over. And I've already measured out all these pockets, so it's not going to cut into a crease, and there's plenty of space for all your cards. So let's stitch these guys down, and then this one on 3 sides only. Then you want to just trim your threads, and you can see that the inside pocket parts are already done. We'll set this aside, and then let's start working on the outer portion. Just give it a fold, make sure. And at this point, if you want to make sure, go ahead and take your credit cards, your IDs, your bank cards and all that, put it in there and try it out. Make sure you don't need to take out any stitching and readjust anything, but that should be fine. Then for the outer portion, again, it's already been creased. Now we're going to lay it up like this one with our strips to create the closure part on the back end, okay? So lay it with the outside part that's going to be facing out down, because that's where these things are going to be stitched down onto. We're going to take 2 of these strips. One is going to come in about 1/2 of an inch to the right of the first crease coming this way, right? If we orient this lengthwise. I can put a clip there just to hold that. And this gets stitched all the way from top to bottom along both long sides. But what you need to do is insert here your strap. So for that, I have the same strip that I need, and you can always consult with the description box for the measurements for all these pieces, okay? I just fold it in half, and then I'll just take a little snippet off of it to kind of give it a more pointed look, and I kind of like the way that looks, okay? And then you're going to tuck this in here so that I tuck it far enough in so that it ends up measuring right about to the edge of this. Line up everything nice and straight and put another clip. And then you're just going to stitch along the 2 long sides to anchor that into place and hold this down as well. On the other side here, we're going to add another strip, 1/2 of an inch to the right from this outer edge. Again, with my little clips here. And actually, let me show you. Here we go. I did this one where I wrote on it just with a pen to kind of show you where you're going to be stitching, because the idea is, and let me show you on a sample one here, the idea is that instead of having a full open strip, there's too much movement in that for the strap to be held in place. So what I do is we stitch around so that the opening part is actually a little bit narrower. It helps hold that strip down in place and will better hold the strap as the closure part of the wallet, all right? So we're gonna make this part now. And you can see that I already have one here where I started. I just came down. You can eyeball it or you can also measure it. What I do want you to do is leave about 1 inch opening here, okay? You obviously want the opening to be larger than the strip that you're gonna use for the closure part. So you can always measure it and see, and then put a little mark there to let you know where exactly, how far over you need to come, okay? So I'm gonna head over to the sewing machine and stitch this one down just to hold that in place. And then I don't have to show you this one because I showed you how to put it together, and you can see that we stitched this down. Now, one option that you have that I've done here is that I just top stitched through the little tab, and I think that just adds a little decorative touch to it. You can leave it blank if you want to, but again, you can always add a little pop of color. I think a fun thread to use would be a variegated thread as well. That would look really fun, especially if you're doing the wallet all in one size. I think that would be cool. All right, so let's stitch this one down. Stop at my mark. Okay, so here we have it. This is the outer portion, and this is our lining. Now, at this point, you want to orient the inside lining correctly, okay? If you're right-handed or left-handed, because you don't want whoever gets the wallet to open and have the billfold part upside down, okay? So this is what I do. I just put it here, orient it correctly, fold it in thirds, and see if that's how you want to do it. This is for a left-handed person. I like to have it right-handed, so I know I'm going to have to flip the lining. So if this is how it is, I'm going to open it up, and you can see my billfold is upside down. So all you're going to do is slide it to the bottom so that the 1/4 inch extra is at the top. So again, let's try it. Fold, fold, And that looks a lot better to me. All right, so I have the correct orientation. Now we can clip around and sew. And all you're gonna do is top stitch. Where are all my clips? Oh, they're all here. So put it in place just to hold it in a few different spots. Okay. And now we're just gonna go back and top stitch everywhere. One option that you have is to leave this outer portion. You don't have to top stitch there if you don't want to, but I kind of like to do it. So I'll just start here, re-stitch over my pocket line so it goes through all these layers, keep going all the way around, and I'll go all the way around just the 4 sides until I get it stitched into place. And make sure that you leave the top open because you're gonna need that open for your bills. So let me do that and show you how to put it together and close it right up. All right. Now, one thing to note that I haven't mentioned about the thread, I'm actually using a 40 weight cotton. And if you're a quilter, you probably are used to using about a 50 weight or even thinner than that, a 60 or 70 weight thread for piecing. For something as sturdy as this and something that has construction to it that you want it to hold, I would suggest going with a little bit thicker thread. It's also going to add more of a pop of color if you're using a contrasting thread, okay? So again, like a 40 weight, even a 30 weight would look really good. And then play around with the thread colors. You can use variegated threads or solids like I'm using here. Right to that edge. And I'm just going to take a few more stitches over my first ones to make sure it's all in place and trim my threads. All right, so there it is. We have our opening here for bills or even receipts and things like that. And then you have 4 card slots and 1 for an ID right in the center. So to close it up, we're just going to fold it, bring that strap over, and just slide it under the little opening there. And that's it. I hope you all enjoyed this video tutorial on how to make a really cool Kraft-tex trifold wallet. If you enjoyed this video tutorial, make sure to hit it with the thumbs up below. Remember, there's a link in the description box on where you can find all the materials I used to make it, and all the cuts for you to cut out the pieces and make the entire project are included there for you as well. Thanks again for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.